Welcome back, episode 24. Chris, how are you?
4.
2-4, yeah.
Great.
Love to hear it.
How are you, David?
Good.
Happy
Weather
to
is
be here.
changing. Weather is feeling great.
How many episodes do you think have we started with saying something related to the weather?
I think probably more than half. But I also think the weather plays a huge factor in people's mentalities.
Okay.
I can definitely
So
see
that's
a
why.
difference in people's emotions when it's cold and crappy out versus nice like this.
All right, we'll
It's
take
great.
it.
Yeah, people love the warm weather. I don't know if we're in the right spot for it, but we'll see.
We'll take it when we can get it.
We'll see.
Well, let's jump into it. What do you got?
Minnesota Minute, Timberwolves 33-14. They're playing the Mavericks, the Magic, and the Rockets coming up. Minnesota Wild kind of struggling. They're 21-23-5. They're playing the Blackhawks, Penguins, and Golden Knights coming up. Gopher basketball, big win against Penn State. They play Northwestern and Michigan State coming up. And then in the Professional Women's Hockey League, Minnesota beat New York. On Sunday, they play Toronto this weekend.
Okay.
There you have it. Short, simple,
Perfect.
to the point.
Well, we're going to transition right to Roundtable and talk about the recent report that Kirk Cousins' asking price is 2-year, $90 million guaranteed. What are your thoughts on that?
I guess
Is it a surprise?
no, I don't think it's a surprise in today's market, and I think it's one of those things that I think he realized that it's proven that he's a lot better player than a lot of these random quarterbacks that we have.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think it was interesting when he said, "Oh, I would love to stay in Minnesota." So there's that's not a hometown discount. I'm sorry.
No.
A hometown discount would be 2 years, 20 to 30 million, but then allowing the team to work around you for the future.
I think 2 years, $30 million would be a real
I mean, what's Mahomes getting? 50?
50 something.
50 something?
I don't know exactly.
Lamar's
what it is,
probably up there too, but these are teams that are consistently bringing their teams to championships / Super Bowls. I mean, it would be interesting. QB contracts. I mean, 45 million it just makes you wonder. Like, I don't think any team's going to pay 45 million.
You'd be surprised. I think somebody will. I hope that it's not us. I think that a realistic number for a hometown discount would be 2 years, $30 million each year. So 2 years, $60 million. I think that's reasonable. I think that's giving him enough money. He's coming off a significant injury, and I think that is plenty for him to feel like it's worth it. You get to stay where you want to stay. I think that's realistic. Plus, that gives us $30 million over 2 years to use on other players that will help you out and get us to the Super Bowl, which is where you want to go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's crazy to look at these people, like their cap numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Deshaun Watson is ridiculous. He's at 64. Mahomes is at 58. Dak's up there at 60. Kyler Murray's at 51. But like Daniel Jones and Josh Allen are at 47. Then it drops all the way to 35 for Derek Carr. So yes, Daniel Jones' contract is kind of messed up. But you look at the other quarterbacks on here.
It goes from
47 to 35.
Really?
Derek Carr, Russell Wilson, Joe Burrows is at 29.
That's got to be.
This is in 2024. That's their salary. So maybe it's backloaded.
Yeah.
Could be something like that. But I'm saying if Daniel Jones is getting 47 million. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
that's because he just signed it.
Yeah, I think 45 million though is too much. I think 45 million is too much
So
if
what's
you want to
your
build
number?
it. 32 to 35.
Okay.
But and my point is it's crazy to say, and I know money is a huge influence, but you can't come out and sit here and say you want to stay with a team and that you made enough money so you're going to take a discount and then try to become the 5th, 6th highest paid quarterback in the league after a significant injury with needing to build around you and also pay guys like Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and all these guys.
Yeah, but his argument will be, well, that doesn't affect the ability to pay me to an extent. Like, that's not my problem.
100%. It's not your problem that you won't have a job on the Vikes either. I could care less. If you're asking $45 million and we can't build around you, I don't care if you're here. At some point, we have to. Yeah. At some point, we have to take it and say, hey, we're going to draft an actual competent quarterback. and go from there and maybe trade up in the draft and figure it out.
Yeah.
We've been drafting these random quarterbacks that don't
I agree.
do nothing.
Yeah.
So I think 45 is way high.
Okay.
Do you have a number? Would you pay him 45?
I said 2 years, $30 million each, so 2 years, 60 total.
Is that your cap?
Guaranteed. No, I think that's a good number for us.
What's your cap?
I don't know.
What would you be willing to pay him?
Maybe 35.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not like super in the know with the different salary cap restrictions and everything. What we got to get under, what the Viking situation is, but I think 35 is. I mean, who's making 35?
Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, Lamar's at 32, Jared Goff's at 32,
Who's at like 30?
Geno Smith's at 31, and Joe Burrow's at 29.
Okay.
So it says his last contract his cap number was 28.5. Kirk's.
Yeah, but cap number and salary is different.
What's the difference?
The cap number is what the number is that's counting against the cap for the team, like total salary. The salary for an individual player, like there's different ways. Like, I mean, it's the same exact thing when you're thinking about total compensation for regular Joe working at a company. Total compensation includes your 401k match, your PTO days, all that stuff included. So like,
So that's cap, or is that cash spent?
what is?
Because cash spent is way lower. Cap number is way higher. So is this a number that they're going to pay him potentially based off of all that stuff?
Dog, I don't know. To be
Because
honest
Joe
with
Burrow's cash spent number is 65.
Million.
Yeah, and everyone else is pretty. Patrick Mahomes is 44.5. So
That's what I'm saying. That stuff gets way too over my head pretty quick. But
yeah, Herbert's
all I'm
56.
saying is 30 is the ideal number for me.
Yeah, we'll
That's
see
what I got.
they do.
What do you got?
35.
What's the next thing on your list?
Oh, let's talk NBA All-Stars are selected. We didn't bring this up last time, but we also never mentioned. The fans are a part of the vote, but players also are a big part of the vote. And so is the media.
So those are the 3 buckets of voters.
3 buckets, and each one is tiered in a different way. Because when you look at least on the West, you had LeBron, Jokic, Durant, Luka, and Shea. Shea actually had less votes than Steph, but he had more player votes and more media votes than both Luka and Steph. So it moved up. That's why he's starting instead of
So
Steph.
what's the top tier of like importance for voting?
I think it's all weighted differently. I'll bring it up. It's weighted in a certain way that. So when you look at Western Conference guards, there's a player rank based off of player total votes, and then it says there's a weighted score. So it must take into consideration media rank, fan rank, player rank. And so Shea was 1 in player rank, 1 in media rank, 3 in fan rank. So he was at a 2. So they must just take the average of where they rank. That's your weighted score.
Okay.
Interesting.
I think that for the most part, the starters are exactly who should have been.
Yeah.
The starters. The only who's on the East? The starters.
The East starters are Embiid, Tatum, Giannis, Halliburton, and Dame. Dame was the one that people were questioning.
Yeah, and Brunson would be the one to replace him.
Mm-hmm. That was the only one that really a lot of people, at least online,
I'm good with the rest of the starters. To be quite honest with you, the only one would be Jalen Brunson instead of Dame.
They actually had the same exact weighted score,
Really?
but he had 700,000 more fan votes. So that must have played a part.
That's interesting. That I mean, I guess if I had to guess, probably people from Portland and people from Milwaukee are voting for Dame rather than just people in New York. Like Jalen Brunson's this is his 2nd full year there, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So the people in Dallas that like him probably aren't going out of their way to vote for him.
Well, and I also think when you think of Dame, the name is just a lot bigger. Everyone loves Dame.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like everyone knows Dame. I don't think people give Jalen Brunson enough credit for what
Are you good with the starters, or you think somebody else should be in it?
No, I think I'm good with the starters. I think the starters are great, but I also think it's like
So when did they announce the reserves?
they announced, I believe, sometime this week. I don't know. It doesn't have on here. It's just they did the starters last weekend.
Okay.
But I mean, I think it's just like
As it it's so when is it? 14th.
this. Yes,
It's the
2 weeks
14th. So I'd assume probably
next week,
in the next
or
week.
maybe this coming up weekend.
In the next week they'll announce the reserves.
Yeah, which will be interesting how they do the reserves. I don't know if they just take the next X amount.
No, I think there's a little bit more weight on something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
we'll see.
That'd be my assumption. Okay, cool.
Interesting. It's interesting.
You got anything else for roundtable?
No, I do not.
All right, then let's introduce the seltzer of the day.
We're going back to, I shouldn't say back, we did one of these a while back. Spindrift spiked. We have strawberry with lime. So strawberry lemonade with lime, and then there's a mango.
Strawberry. Sorry, what is it? Strawberry what?
Strawberry lemonade
Okay.
with lime.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it's gives you all three.
That's an odd combo.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how much lime is in here.
I hope there's some.
I mean, the color is miraculous.
I'm
And
gonna
then this
need
one is just
some-
mango, and it says on there real squeezed mango, and then it says, "Yep, that's it." So this is only mango.
I remember these ones were pretty light to drink. Like they were very easy. Wow, that is a really strong.
It's like
yellow
mango
color.
juice. Not a lot of fizz either. It funneled right out.
Yeah, these were.
I'm pretty sure we tried what, an orange?
No, it was blue writing with orange. I can't remember what the flavor was, but
This looks like orange juice.
it was
Pineapple?
maybe
Because
There
that's
might
one of
have
the
been
flavors
some
that was in the
pineapple.
pack.
Was it blue writing?
It's blue writing, but so did the orange one.
Oh.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
So here's
Here we go.
this is strawberry lemonade. I mean, the can is as plain as you can get it. It literally just says the words.
Yeah, nice clean white can with colored letters.
Newton, Massachusetts,
Which
85
one
calories,
Which
less
one
than
are we
most.
doing first?
This is strawberry lemonade with lime.
Okay. Strawberry lemonade with lime.
Ugh.
The
I don't know.
the smell, it makes me
Ugh.
think of V8. The smell.
It's a strong smell, but the taste, to be honest, is just not there. And I don't know if they're trying to incorporate multiple. I don't know.
It leaves something to be
There's
desired.
definitely lime in there. I think the hard part is there's definitely lime. The strawberry lemonade is very, very light. But I don't know. It's kind of interesting. It doesn't really taste like strawberry lemonade, but then there's a hint of lime. Not really a hint. I shouldn't say a hint. There's a smacking of lime. The
Yeah.
lime is very distinguishable. I think you can almost taste the lime more than you can taste the strawberry lemonade.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I would agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first taste you have is literally lime, and then after that, I mean, there's still a little bit of lemonade. There's really not a whole lot of strawberry.
It's an odd flavor combination, so it's hard to get all three of them because it's not something that you typically associate with together.
Yeah, which is interesting that they did it that way, because I feel like since they had to
I
add,
know that it's cloudy.
yeah, mine is cloudy too. It's got like it looks like it's like the freshly squeezed lemonade, unless it's your glasses again. But I didn't see nothing in the glasses this time.
No, this is definitely the liquid.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because I think it's one of those things where when I look at the strawberry lemonade, like they tried to add so much lime that they lost the strawberry lemonade. So I don't like it,
And
I think it's not very good.
Do you prefer the?
I prefer just strawberry
strawberry
lemonade. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's hard.
Strawberry lemonade is tough to beat.
No, strawberry lemonade is great. Strawberry lemonade is even better than regular lemonade in some cases.
Well, is it better? Or is
I think it's better. I mean, I'm not really a huge lemonade person in general, but I'm gonna give it a 4-1. I think it's pretty bad. I will say this: the one credit I will give it, it's very easy to drink. There's little carbonation, but I just think when I think of strawberry lemonade, especially with the color that it is and the smell, I'm expecting way more flavor to pop, and there's just not a lot of flavor. There's just more lime like it just lime and then nothing. So
Mhm.
I don't think it's great, which is unfortunate. But it's okay.
I'm gonna give it a 4-6. 4-6.
Yeah, it just was not.
I think it's below average. The flavor combination is very odd to me, like I've said, and I think that they would be better suited if it was just strawberry lemonade or just lime. But the combination of all three of those is something that I don't think others should try and do
Yeah.
with their seltzers.
Yeah, I think when you try to add 3, it's very hard. Actually, this is probably one of the first few that actually has 3.
Probably.
Like, I mean, most I'm just struggling. I mean, even if you're going just with strawberry lime, that's probably better than going strawberry lemonade and lime, or go lemonade lime. You could mix up the combinations, but just stick to 2.
Mm-hmm.
So
You could.
not great. Now we're on to mango. It says it's fresh squeezed mango. So we'll see.
All right, Mango. Give us something good here. It's very bright yellow. If you're watching the video here, shout out to you. It looks like pure orange juice.
I just don't know. I don't. There's no carbonation. Like I said, it's similar to the first one. There's no carbonation, but I just think it's lacking so much flavor. There's no punch in my eyes.
It's probably like that because they're trying to keep it so light and keep the calorie count down so much
Mm-hmm.
that they can't add the things that give other
sugars and
drinks
stuff.
more flavor.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, we're gonna have to keep it low on all of the flavor and everything that you can taste because we're trying to keep it low in calories.
Mm-hmm.
I bet that's what it is.
Yeah, it's interesting. It just is not. I mean, I just don't know. I don't taste really like. If you never told me what flavor it was, I would be probably very hard pressed to say I could identify this as easily mango.
Yeah, I don't know if I could either. That's a good point.
Yeah, it
Huh.
just, like I said, it's just not there.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how that works.
I mean, even the smell doesn't smell like mango. I mean, I'll give them a little credit. I think it's basically the same as the first one.
I think it's a little better.
I think it's a little, I would say it's very similar to the first one, and it's just like one of those where the aftertaste is fine, no carbonation, so there's nothing to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
Easy to drink, low calories, but the flavor, if you're looking for something that you would actually probably enjoy and want something with flavor, this has just not been it.
Mm-hmm.
So, we got 2 more chances.
Okay.
That's the nice thing about a 4-pack, or
That's
4
right.
flavors. You get 4.
That is how it works.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm giving it a 4-1.
4-1
Same
again.
exact score. I think they're both been the same exact below average.
I think that might be the first time that's happened. 4-1, 4-1, back to back from DB.
Yeah, that's also probably 2 of my lowest ones.
Probably, yeah.
Mhm.
I'm gonna give it a 4-8. I think it's slightly better than the last one that we just did, but still slightly below average.
Yeah.
So a little bit less than 5, but slightly better than the first one that we did.
Yeah, just disappointing.
So
Happens.
there you go.
So,
Hopefully you can only go up from here.
like I said, you get 4.
Fingers
You
crossed.
get 4.
And that's what they call it.
A review. Bang.
Alrighty, team. We're going to talk NCAA basketball here. Where we're going to start is the late season top 20 Wooden Award list was announced.
Okay.
Fun fact for you. The mid-season top 25 does not guarantee that you're going to be on the late season top 20. So, for instance, there are 2 players, Janai Broom from Auburn and Deron Holmes II from Dayton. They weren't on the mid-season top 25, but now they're on the late season top 20. So I think that's something to keep an eye on. But it's last year, if you remember, Zach Edey was pretty much a no-brainer, locked and loaded, won it no problem, right? This year, it is rumored that there's going to be other guys that give him a better run for their money, or run for his money.
Yeah. I also think it's very hard always to go back to back. Because
Yep.
the expectations are
Totally.
always so high that everyone's like, all right, you got to exceed what you did last year. Everyone's expecting you to be that player again, but you have to also take it the next step.
Yeah,
So it's very hard to go back to back, especially in college. There's so many good athletes.
absolutely.
I mean, his name will still be up there if it isn't already the front.
No,
runner.
yeah,
It'll still be up there.
he's definitely the favorite. I think it's also helpful for him that he's such a dominant player. Like, when everybody thinks about college basketball, he's one of the first names you think about because
Mhm.
one, he's so big in stature, but two, he's on a really good team. So like they're always in the conversation. It's not like
Yeah.
a lot of times in the NBA, if there's an MVP candidate, but their team is awful, then that's gonna weigh into those conversations. But Purdue is consistently, since he's been there, been a top 25 team. So like that part isn't really in the conversation. So.
Mhm.
But he's the favorite early on here. But then there's a couple other guys that are of note that are giving them a run for their money. You got the Tennessee wing, Dalton Connect. He's like scoring a crazy amount lately.
He's like balling.
Yeah. So he's one to keep an eye on. You got RJ Davis from North Carolina. He's leading the ACC in scoring. And he's pretty much carrying that team. They're top 5 team currently. Then you got a few other guys who are on good teams as well, like the best player on the good team. You got UConn's Tristan Newton, Kentucky's Antonio Reeves. Then you got 2 guys on Kansas, which will probably hurt them in a award like this.
Mhm.
But you got Hunter Dickinson, Kevin McCullough. So it's an interesting list that will be one to keep an eye on, but it's nice that it kind of highlights guys on good teams. Like, it's hard to include somebody on this list, in my opinion, that is on a bad team. Like, you don't see too much of that.
Yeah. Well, and I think it just shows. I think they also take into account, like you just said, the impact that these players have on this team. So if the team's not good,
Mm-hmm.
someone would argue and be like, oh, well, then their impact isn't as great as a guy who's leading the number 2 or 1 team in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say there's a lot of good names on here. I mean, there's a lot. We've said it before, and this year has shown just in college basketball. Staying at number 1 has been very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of good teams. There's a lot of weeks where these good teams go 0-2 and
Yeah.
lose. I mean, this conference play is just killing people, and it's great. I mean, there's just a lot of great players. Obviously, Zach Edey is one of them, but I do think this kid from Tennessee is just scoring. He's got to be averaging the last 5 or 6 games almost 30 points.
Yeah, and Tennessee's a top 5 team as well, and he's a significant
Part of that.
part of their team. So it's pretty much the best player on almost all
the
of
top
the top
25.
5. Well, top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
Like,
That was those names, and then when you start getting down, every guy is on pretty much a top 25 team.
for the most part,
Close to.
yeah. Which I think is how it should be
Right.
for this specific award.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's one of those things. Like I said, it's very hard to win it back to back. I think if he deserves it, he should win it.
Do you think he deserves it?
I think at this point he's playing very well. I think there's definitely an argument for the Tennessee guy who's basically carrying that team to. I think when you look at Purdue though too, their guards are playing better in year 2 compared to last year. I just think it's one of those things. Obviously, he's the best player, but like I said, there's just a lot of good players. I mean, Filipowski's not a bad player for Duke. Baycut's not bad for North Carolina. But like, it's the same argument. It's hard to put 2 guys on the same team up there.
Correct.
Like RJ Davis, if that's the guy, then it's hard to put Baycut also up there. It's
Correct.
the same thing with Hunter Dickinson, which I think Hunter Dickinson's been a great player, but I think also when you look at that team, McCullers has been better than Hunter Dickinson.
Mm-hmm.
But the name And what happened over there from him transferring and all that big deal has really just propelled his name up the list.
Definitely.
So I think, but like I said, he's been playing well. Don't get me wrong, but I think what McCullers is doing is a lot more impactful to that team.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree.
yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, that's obviously the late season one, but there's still a lot of basketball left to play. So
Yeah, so they announced the finalists. Let's see here. I don't know when they announced the finalists. I guess I don't even know if we said it. The Wooden Award is the top player in college basketball.
yeah, so it's like the MVP.
Yeah, pretty much the
College
MVP
basketball.
version of college basketball.
Mhm.
Finalists. Do you know when they announced the?
It's got to be right before tournament play, right? Before conference tournament.
Let's see here. So they announced them on March 30th last year.
So after March Madness, or after the
During.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So I think they wait until they know like the All American teams, and then like not that it's they wait for the All American teams and then they put the Wooden Award finalists out, but like it's kind of one and then the other.
Yeah,
They're
I mean,
not
I think they
affected.
kind of go hand in hand.
They typically like
Yeah.
last year all of the 5 finalists were on the All American team, so like it makes sense.
Yeah.
Which would probably happen the majority of years.
Yeah.
But-
Well, I think that's with all sports, where it's like you look at it, it's like these guys that are up for Player of the Year, Defense Player, they're most likely first team All Pros, first team whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, that's interesting. So that's the end or during
It
March.
was during So like this article that I'm seeing on Bleacher Report, it says like the teams that have the finalists are watching the Final Four from home, but they still have the finalists. So
Okay, interesting.
yeah,
So there's a chance that a person is playing in the Final Four
and is a
and getting that award.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
When is that the same time that the All Americans are named? You said, or is the All Americans before that? That's got to be.
It's
before.
right around that same
Okay.
time.
Got it.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yep. Yeah. So there you have it.
Yeah, I mean, they're still played till what, the beginning of March, the first or second week in March.
Yep.
And then you got conference tournament.
Into the conference tournaments, into the
NCAA, March Madness.
Yep.
So,
Exactly.
yeah, it's interesting. We'll see what happens.
Alrighty, we're moving on to NBA. And this is where I would like to start.
Go for it. Let's see.
I saw this video on TikTok earlier this week, and it did this little exercise that we're going to do.
Okay.
So you have 10 chips.
Okay.
Like poker chips.
Yep.
You have to put them on teams to make the NBA finals.
Okay. And you have
So
to
like
space it out like
you're
how come?
essentially betting. Okay, I'm going to put 2 on this team, 3 on this team, 6 on this team.
Okay.
You can't put all 10 on one team.
Okay.
Uh,
Is there like the minimum one chip?
Nope. Well,
The minimum.
The teams that you include, you would put 1 on them
Got it, yep.
or whatever. You get 10 total chips.
Mhm.
Okay, we're gonna do Western Conference first. So, as of right now,
Mm-hmm.
the top 5 is the Wolves at 1, Nuggets at 2, Thunder at 3, Clippers at 4, Kings at 5. That's the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
So you have 10 chips. How are you distributing them? Like
Throughout it. On
those teams
I'm gonna say I'm gonna
to
put,
bet to make the NBA finals.
Got it. So I'm gonna put 3 on the Nuggets.
Okay.
I'm gonna put 2 on the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
2 on the Timberwolves. 5, 6, 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I mean, I guess you can.
I don't want to do 1-1-1.
You can do teams outside of the top 5 if you want. That would most likely be the Suns, the Mavericks, the Pelicans, the Lakers, the Warriors if you want.
Yeah.
Farther down.
I would say. So I have a Clipper. I would say 2 on Sacramento and 1 on OKC. So I'm sticking to the top 5. So 2 on the Timberwolves, Clippers, Kings, 3 on the Nuggets. That's 9, and then 1 on Oklahoma City Thunder.
Okay.
That's my 10. So I am sticking in the top 5. I think the Phoenix Suns are ass.
Okay.
Watching them play is, and I know they have great players, but dog, if you need one of your players to drop 50 points to even compete, no, not it.
Okay.
So
interesting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do 4 on the Nuggets. I'm gonna go 2 on the Clippers. So what would that be? That's 6. I'm gonna do 2 on the Thunder. And then 1 on the Suns and 1 on the Timberwolves.
Yeah. Okay. So you have more confidence in the Thunder than you do the T-Wolves. That's why you put 2 on it. That's what it's saying? Got it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it's partially because I don't want to get my hopes up.
Well,
But I mean, they've...
You got to manifest it.
Yeah.
You got to manifest it. I mean, if you keep saying that, we're never going to win a title.
That's why I'm putting 1 on there. But I think the 4 on the Nuggets and the... I mean,
I think the Nuggets are the favorite.
The Nuggets, yeah, obviously. But the Nuggets and the Clippers, like, have enough star power. They have guys that have done it.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, you can picture, like, when it comes down to it in the playoffs, they will, like, just get it done. Maybe less the Clippers than the Nuggets, right? But, like, when it comes down to the playoffs, that's when you need your big dogs to go.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's just kind of like in my head. The Wolves just recently they're struggling so much in the fourth quarter, and they just lose all focus on what they're doing offensively, and they just do their own thing. So it's just very frustrating. But that's why I think less. I was very pleasantly surprised with their game against the Thunder, so that's why we're putting 1 on there. But like, I don't know. Sometimes it's just hard to expect that or like think that that's going to happen until you actually see it happen in real time, like in that same situation, which is the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just think, yeah. No, that's fair. I think the Thunder...
I don't
like
give
I said,
any
I
chance
think
to the Kings.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Kings have a better chance.
No.
I mean, I think the Clippers are great. I think the Kings will have a chance.
No.
They probably have the same chance as the Suns. I mean,
think
to be
the
honest,
Suns have
they were
a
one
much
game
better chance.
They were literally 1 game away from beating the Warriors last year. So it's like, and they don't have a different team.
But that was the first round.
Correct. But then it's like, after you get past the first round, you only got to win 1 more. I mean, I don't think it's that bad. I mean, I think
you have to win 2 more series to go to the NBA Finals.
But what I'm saying is, if I'm going to put somebody on it, I have more. Like I said, I have more confidence in. I just don't think the Suns, and we'll see what happens. I think the Suns are a great team. They have the numbers, but is Bradley Beal going to play? God knows. Is Devin Booker going to play? Probably. He plays a lot. Is KD going to play? I don't know. It's just hard. I mean, I don't know. When I look at that, I think the Nuggets are the favorite. I don't trust the Thunder. The Clippers are probably up there for the second favorite for sure, because their stars are playing together and playing well.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we'll see. I don't give anyone out of the top 6 right now any chance, to be honest. I think the Mavericks are whack.
Yep.
Pelicans,
Pelicans
they would probably be the
they've
team.
shown like promise.
Yeah, I would say the Pelicans are probably the
smaller
team.
amounts.
I don't think the Lakers and the Jazz. No.
All right, we're gonna move on to the Eastern Conference now. Same exact thing. You get 10 chips, break them down how you want.
Okay.
Top 5 currently are the Celtics at 1, the Bucks are 2, 76ers 3, Knicks at 4, and Cavaliers at 5. And then you have the Pacers, Heat, Magic 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, I'm going to put 4 on the Celtics, 4 on the Bucks, and 2 on the Sixers. and I'm going to call it a day.
Yeah. That
The Knicks are tempting, but I've also watched these Knicks are just they're not fun to watch, and they just they rely. And I'm not saying he's a bad player; he's a great player. But if Brunson has a bad day, they have a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at these other teams, obviously the Celtics are loaded. The Bucks are playing very good. The Sixers are playing very good. They just have different ways to score. So that's my teams. And the Pacers give up 180 points a game. So I don't know how you compete with that. That's fine in the regular season. In the playoffs, when teams play defense, it's hard.
Yep.
So
I'm gonna go Celtics 5, Bucks 4, and 76ers 1.
Yeah. I mean, I think at this point, it's one of those things with the Celtics. Like, it's gotta happen. Like in the next 2 or 3. I mean, you have so many good players.
Mm-hmm.
Porzingis is playing well. Tatum's playing well. Jaylen Brown's playing well. You have guys in great spots where you sit here and you say that at some point they're going to win a championship.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same thing every year, though. And then it always comes down to when it's like, I mean, they've also laid a lot of goose eggs.
Yeah.
When they lose, they lose.
But it would, to me, like, you might have a team that's not one of those 3 teams get to the Eastern Conference Finals, like the Heat have in the past. Like, they kind of just, like, slide in, and then all of a sudden they're in the conference championship, and it's like, wait a minute, nobody really thought that they were that great. Like, they have a couple good players, but nobody thought that they actually had a chance to get to the finals.
Yeah.
And then they're in the Eastern Conference Championship, and it's like, wait a minute, I think we actually have to think about them as actual contenders.
Yeah.
But it'll be hard to see a road for anybody outside of those 3 to make it to the NBA Finals. Getting to the Eastern Conference Championship, maybe, but getting to the NBA Finals and winning 3 straight series,
it's pretty hard.
That to me is pretty much, it's one of those 3 teams in that order: 5, 4, 1. Like Celtics, Bucks, heavily on them.
Yeah. So those obviously are probably the favorites. But yeah, there's no other real team. I mean.
Okay, so here's a question. Knowing that we both feel that way, out of the teams not those 3, the Celtics, Bucks, 76ers, who do you think is the most likely team to get to the Eastern Conference Championship? Because I think this question probably has a lot more potential answers.
Yeah, I think you can make an argument. I would say probably the highest on my team would probably be the Knicks. I know they're 4, but they also have good players. But I actually will go with your take. I would probably say the Heat. I think the Heat have that experience. Granted, they're on a 7-game losing streak right now, which is kind of...
Oh my gosh, they cannot.
The hardest part with the Heat is they cannot score.
Yeah,
and so
all of their games are so low scoring.
Right, and they can't score, and they're frustrating. So if the guys, they don't... I mean, and they play great defense, don't get me wrong, but they can't score. But then it's like you look at other teams where it's like the Cavaliers are also kind of in that similar boat. Granted, right now their defense is picking up, and they've been playing well, and Jared Allen's great, and Donovan Mitchell.
So the thing about the Cavaliers, and something to watch as the next couple weeks go along, is Darius Garland is supposed to be back Wednesday, so it'll be like yesterday from when you're listening. And also Evan Mobley just came back on Monday. So like now they've actually got their full team, whereas the past month to 2 months they haven't had their full team. So now the next couple weeks we'll actually be able to tell how good or how mediocre the Cavaliers are.
Yeah. And I think it's like what the thing is, I think the Heat have the experience. I think when you look at the Knicks, like I was saying before, the Knicks have a lot of, I guess they have technically 2 stars, and Jalen Brunson's a star, and I guess you could say Julius Randle's in the discussion. But I think also at the same time, like I said, Jalen Brunson, if you ever watch him play, Jalen Brunson shoots 30 times a game. Yes, I mean, so if he's cold, you're screwed. And then you also don't have guys who really have that experience. But I don't know, it's hard. You got rid of R.J. Barrett. You got rid of players that were good players. So
I think Jalen Brunson plays in a way that the number of times he's going to struggle is definitely lower. Like, it's not like he's going out and he's playing in a way such as how Steph Curry plays. And not to say that he has that many games that he struggles, but like if Jalen Brunson played the same way as Steph and scored a lot of his points off of 3-pointers, then I think he would have a higher likelihood of struggling for a couple games in a row. But Jalen Brunson doesn't really play like that. He does shoot outside shots, but like he's more crafty, kind of finding in that mid range, attacking the basket, playing like at his own pace, and so I think there's less likelihood that he'll struggle on a consistent basis.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, like I said, besides the teams in that top 3 or 4, I just don't see any team coming winning a 7-game series.
I think I'm gonna go with the. I feel like the most likely is the Knicks, but because they did win the series last year, but I think my fun pick is gonna be the Cavs.
Yeah, I think the Cavs are probably
they
fun
have
to
the
watch.
potential.
They have potential.
They have enough star power. They have guys that do multiple things on their team. They have a couple good role players that can kind of fill the different voids that they have. So I think, especially the next couple weeks, that's what I'm going to be watching to see if they have enough and can show enough where it's like, all right, they could win 1 to 2 series, find themselves in the Eastern Conference Championship. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not, but I think they got the possibility.
I will say it's just very difficult, I think, for some of these teams who don't score necessarily as much and play a slower tempo to sometimes compete with these big dogs, because if you're playing from behind, you're not used to playing that speeded up offense. And I think last year when you look at the series, the Knicks beat the Cavaliers.
Everything slows. Yeah, they did. Everything slows down in the playoffs, so it's going to come down to defense. But you have to be able to score enough to win. Like you have to have good enough defense to handle the slower pace and kind of grinding out possessions, right? But you have to have a good enough offense where when the game slows down and the other team's defense kind of steps up, then you have to be able to score enough points to win the game.
Right.
That's the name of the game.
Yeah, we'll see.
Cool. Alrighty. Well, let's move on to Fave 4.
Need that. Well, do you want to do the same thing? Who's the most likely team in the Western Conference?
Oh, the Western Conference?
Out of those 5? Or out of the top 6?
Well,
it has to be the Pelicans, right?
I
I mean, the hardest part is the Western Conference is a lot more. There's not like a heavier favorite or a heavier top 2 or 3. But I would say when you look at the next few teams, I'm not a Mavericks fan at all, but I would think the Pelicans are that team. You could make an argument for the Lakers if they all come together and figure it out, but
I don't think it's the Pelicans because I don't think that they have the ability to step up when the lights are shining the brightest.
So who would your team be?
I would probably pick, outside of the top 6, because I did give the Suns 1, I would probably pick the Mavericks.
Oof. Yeah. I just don't know about them.
I would pick them as my 6th most likely, because I gave.
Would you say they're above? I guess you could say the Kings. You never put anything on the Kings.
No, I think I don't.
You would take the Mavericks over the Kings?
Yeah.
You want to put money on it? That the Kings make it farther than the Mavericks?
No.
Oh,
That's
so
not that's not the question.
So you're not that confident though.
No, the question is, out of the teams that you didn't pick any chips, who's the most likely to make it to the conference championship? Not to go the farthest.
Well, it was
to make it to the conference championship.
Yeah, so you're more likely confident. You're more confident in the Mavericks than the Kings.
I think the Mavericks have a higher likelihood to make it to the conference championship than the Kings.
And that's what I'm saying. Do you want to put a wager on it that says that the Kings will make it farther than the Mavericks?
That's not the question, and that's not.
All right, we're going to Fave 4.
That's not the answer that I'm.
Okay, then let's go Fave 4.
Not the question.
It's just a friendly wager. It's just one of those things. If you're very confident in the team, let's put something on it. It's just like
but that's not even the question that we're talking about. The question is who's the most likely to get to the conference championship. If neither team gets to the conference championship, then nothing. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
The most likely to make it to the conference championship. If neither make it there, then neither satisfied what we're trying to answer.
All right, that's fair. Fave 4. Let's get to Fave 4.
Okay.
Heads or tails? You want to explain what we're doing?
Yeah, we're doing top Fave 4. Gym class games. Heads.
Tails.
All right.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Dodgeball.
Okay.
That's my first pick.
I'm gonna go with capture the flag.
Okay.
Mainly because I couldn't remember the name of like the one that's like a little bit more nuanced, but essentially the game is capture the flag. And my second pick is going to be scooter hockey.
Oh, I never played scooter hockey.
You have these big old foam hockey sticks, like the bottom of the hockey stick is foam and the handle is plastic, and then you roll around on little scooters.
Like the 4-wheel ones?
Yeah, it's sick.
I'm gonna go with. I'll go with kickball as my number 2, and then I'm gonna go with the parachute that you used to do in elementary school. Throw the parachute up, try to run across the middle. I don't think there's a name for it. I just call it a parachute.
Okay. My 3 is going to be the bowling unit.
You didn't go to Greenleaf, did you?
No, I didn't.
We used to do a bowling night. It's
Well,
pretty fun.
so, I mean, you lead up to the bowling night. So, in gym class, the bowling unit was, you get these, like, it's basically, like, thin carpet. You put that down, you put the pins up on that carpet, and then you have these, like, enlarged bouncy balls that have
It's a large rubber.
that have the 3 holes for your fingers like a bowling ball does, and you roll it down the carpet and
Just bounces
play
all the way.
bowling. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
you do that in the unit, and then you have bowling night at the end.
Yeah. Well, bowling night's like the after. Like the parents come and all
Yeah,
that.
you lead up to it.
Yep.
That's my 3. My number 4 is going to be I'll go with lightning.
Oh, basketball?
Yeah.
Uh,
That's my 4.
my number 4 is I'm gonna go with badminton.
Okay.
It's more of a high school one,
I
not
don't
a
even
little
know.
ones.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't even.
That's still gym
know
class.
If I played
class?
badminton in gym class.
Not when you were younger, probably, because it was probably a hazard to have kids swinging.
You want to know what my honorable mention is?
What is that?
The jump rope unit.
Yeah.
I remember that, like, they would time you. It was either 1 minute or 2 minutes. I can't remember that part, but they would time you, and you'd have to get as many jumps as you could in that time.
Yeah.
And I just remember locking in that you'd try and find the shortest jump rope that you could, like, actually jump rope with.
Did you guys use the ones that had like beads?
No.
They were like, well, they were not like.
We had the
Leather.
speed jump ropes.
Oh, okay.
Intense. But you just lock in, you'd find the shortest jump rope that you could actually do, so you get it going as fast as you could. And the name of the game, you just couldn't mess up.
Did you ever do it where the
Dominated
large
that.
jump rope, where you had to have someone run in and you had to see how far?
Yeah, I
you
was
could-
less a fan of that.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I remember from elementary gym class is that strength unit where you try to touch your toes and you try to do a little box thing, and it just wasn't fun.
Oh, sit and reach?
Yeah, sit and reach, the pull-ups. All I remember is at least from the bowling unit, is you'd have to keep your own score, and
Yes.
no one knew how to keep their own score.
See, that was part of it. You learned how to keep score.
I couldn't even tell you how to keep score right now.
The only issue is I don't know how many people have ever actually had to keep track of their bowling score, because you just look up at the TV and it tells
Right.
you your score.
That's one. I don't even know how you could do it.
Yeah, you don't need to.
Yeah. All I know is if you only get strikes, it's 300.
That's
So if you're
It's a good
a
call.
good bowler, you only get strikes. It's 300. I've never done it, but
most closest you've been.
I think my highest ever bowling is probably a 170 in the 170s. I don't know the exact number. I've never broken 200. I will say that.
I think my top is low 200s. I can't remember exactly.
Are you a
what it is.
straight or a curve?
Straight?
Yeah.
I
get why
don't
people
mess with the
that.
curve. That's way too much focus.
Yeah, I'm not. I haven't bowled in years.
Me either.
Years.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute, but there it is. So
There you go.
gym recess
Yep. Episode
Or gym.
24.
is in the books.
Peace out.
Peace.